We dive into the abyss to save others, forgetting the deepest ocean is the one inside our own heads. Man, just let that sink in for a second. That chilling thought right there sets the entire stage for our explainer today. We're breaking down a masterpiece that completely blurs the terrifying line between our own internal trauma and, well, literal external horror. We're looking at a story where the monsters aren't just hiding under the bed, they're actually woven into the very fabric of our deepest regrets.
What we're looking at today is essentially a perfect blueprint for a high-octane, cinematic anime adaptation. In this breakdown of Black Thread Chapter 1, specifically the sequence known as Room 404, we are going to see exactly how a quiet, deeply emotional character study violently shifts into a surreal, dark fantasy spectacle.
The visual transition we get right out of the gate is absolutely wild. First, you have the grounded, rainy, sterile reality of Lucknow General Hospital. It's quiet, it's almost suffocating in its mundane despair. But then, look at what it transitions into. The abyss. The artist completely upends our entire sense of reality, trading those cold, familiar hospital shadows for the limitless, glowing purple geometry of a literal nightmare. But hey, before we get lost in that labyrinth, we've got to start right in room 404. Our protagonist, 17-year-old Ray, is standing over his sister, Aya. She's been in a coma for 3 months, and you can practically feel the oppressive atmosphere of this room. Ray tells us it smells like silence. He's drowning in guilt, that heavy, suffocating feeling a lot of us probably know all too well. But then that silence is broken. The supernatural anomaly just appears. It's a single violet pulsing thread, crackling like lightning, rising right from his sister's chest. It's alive. And Ray, he knows instinctively that if he touches it, there is absolutely no turning back. And the second he does reach out and touch that thread, boom. Notice how methodically his reality just breaks down. Step 1, the walls of the hospital room actually begin to bleed in this violent shatter of ink. Step 2, the lights die with a sharp crack. Step 3, the floor completely disappears beneath him. Step 4, gravity just gives way. He is no longer in a hospital. The descent has officially begun.
So he falls, but there's no screaming. He falls without a single sound into a space that the story describes as older than memory. Think about that sensory drop-off for a second. The intense crackling of the thread suddenly gives way to this terrifying, helpless freefall. And as he's plunging into the blackness, he's falling directly toward a colossal, unblinking eye waiting for him in the deep. It hits you with this immediate, suffocating sense of cosmic dread.
Once he actually lands in this impossible place, the true nature of the horror reveals itself. Because it's not just physical, right? It's deeply psychological. This voice just echoes out of the dark. Look at this place, Ray. A beautiful graveyard. You built every grave yourself. This isn't just some mindless monster growling at him. It's a whisper. It knows him. It intimately understands his failures. That voice belongs to Kage, this shadow entity just looming in Ray's mind. Notice the design here. It's just this jagged, glowing grin floating in a mass of dark, chaotic threads. So the really crucial takeaway is that the abyss isn't just a physical location. It's a mirror. It's a terrifying reminder of how our own minds can completely weaponize our regrets against us. Kage is acting as a manipulative parasite, feeding on Ray's deepest pain and whispering it right back to him in the dark. And watch how twisted this gets. It builds into pure emotional cruelty. The abyss actually projects this illusion, a pristine, heartbreaking memory of his sister, Aya, just standing in a quiet hallway. Ray reaches out, so desperate for it to be real. But that fleeting moment of hope is violently shattered. The illusion cracks apart like black glass, revealing the terrifying, wide-eyed, grinning face of Cage right underneath. It's a devastating realization for Ray. Nothing down here is a refuge. The abyss literally uses what you love to break you. But Ray? He absolutely refuses to break. Cornered by these shadows and his own literal guilt, something just snaps. It's kinetic. It's explosive. The purple energy of the abyss turns inward, and Ray physically pulls a weapon straight out of his own chest. This is the memory blade. It manifests in this massive burst of jagged violet crystals. And it isn't some clean, heroic drawing of a sword. It's raw, it's painful, and it is violently born from his own internal suffering. As the narrative tells us the exact moment the blade forms, reality doesn't care about feelings. It only cares about power. Talk about a gut punch of a line. It signals a massive shift in the story. We are no longer just quietly exploring psychological trauma. Oh no. The emotional pain has been forged into a physical weapon. It's time for some high-octane action. And the action here is staggering. Ray steps up and delivers a devastating first strike against this massive, terrifying centipede monster made entirely of screaming skulls. Just look at the raw power radiating from this clash. The violet lightning sparks wildly as his blade connects. It perfectly captures how Ray's guilt, the very thing that was suffocating him in the hospital, is now literally cutting through the physical manifestations of the abyss. But he's outmatched. He's falling. Just as the abyss is about to swallow Ray whole, the pacing completely explodes. The cold, dark purple vibe is instantly obliterated by this blazing torrent of crimson fire. Enters Shin, the hunter of embers. The visual contrast is honestly breathtaking. He cuts through the darkness like a literal meteor, entirely changing the elemental rules of the nightmare. Let's break down why Shin's entrance is so legendary. First off, he doesn't run, he steps. He drags his flaming sword behind him. He isn't panicked at all. If anything, he looks exhausted by this world. He didn't come here to survive. He came to end something. And most importantly, he projects fear. The monsters of the abyss don't just see strength when they look at him. They see something entirely ruthless. The sheer cinematic spectacle of this is off the charts. Shin is effortlessly cleaving through these towering skull monsters, his blade leaving a massive, burning arc of crimson fire right across the sky. The monsters aren't just dying, they are screaming in panic. Shin isn't fighting for his life here, he's conducting an execution. It's an incredible, overwhelming display of power. But then, the fire settles, the manic energy just drops away, the air goes completely dead, and we are left with this chilling question. What exists in the space beneath human memory? Because Ray and Shin, they haven't escaped. They've only gone deeper. Imagine stepping into the absolute lowest depths, the place beneath reality itself. Take in the massive, awe-inspiring architecture of it all. Is an upside-down Gothic cathedral stretching impossibly beyond sight. The sky isn't empty, it's choked with thick, black threads, hanging down like veins holding the entire universe together. It's a setting that just makes you feel incredibly small and entirely trapped. And here's the thing, they aren't alone down there. As you look closer into that dark sky above, you realize what's attached to those threads. Millions of humanoid silhouettes, hanging motionless in the darkness. The story calls them the Threadwalkers. The silence here feels incredibly heavy. It's a moment of pure, suffocating cosmic dread. You realize the scale of this horror is just so much larger than a single hospital room. Which brings us to the ultimate climax of the chapter. One of those upside-down figures slowly opens a pair of glowing white eyes. Then another, and another, until the entire abyss sky just blossoms with thousands of unblinking eyes, all staring directly down at Ray and Shin. The eyes begin descending silently on invisible threads like falling stars. It is visually stunning and absolutely terrifying. And as those eyes descend, Kaj's voice slithers right back into Ray's mind with one final manipulative whisper. Accept it. Embrace it, then the abyss will make you complete. Will Ray succumb to the comfort of just giving up, or will he let his guilt fuel his survival? We've explored the architecture of pain today, but the true fight is honestly only just beginning. What do you think happens when the abyss finally stares back? Until next time, keep questioning what lies beneath the surface.